In this video, I'm going to reveal my top 10 upscale value restaurants on the Las Vegas Strip. I actually first visited Las Vegas over 20 years ago in 2003. And back then, things were a little bit different, where there were tons of offers. Everywhere you went, there were irresistible dining offers to get you into the casino, to get you to play, whether it was $9.95 prime rib or a $14.95 steak dinner. They were everywhere. Nowadays, things are a bit different, a lot different. Vegas was popular back then, but over the past 20 years, it's really exploded in popularity. I think at this point, it's actually the most popular tourist destination in the entire world. If it's not number one, it's close to it. It's very popular. You already know that. It's crazy. Prices have gone through the roof to the point that restaurants can pretty much charge whatever they want, and there'll be people lining up to pay. So maybe you're looking for inexpensive options, but you still don't want to eat at the food court. You don't want the same played out cheap eats options that everybody always talks about. So I'm going to give you my list in this video. Now, granted, these aren't 5-star dining options, but I think that you can have a pretty nice dining experience, an upscale dining experience, for a relatively good value, a relatively low price by Vegas standards. So let's get into it. Number 10, we have Nellys at MGM Grand, the iconic MGM Grand. You can go over there. This is a pretty new restaurant, has opened in the past couple of years, put together by the Jonas brothers. I think Nelly was the name of their grandma, so it's a lot of their grandma's inspired dishes. And two things I really like, aside from the food, which I'll talk about in just a moment, a couple things that I really like about this restaurant is, number one, it's new. I tend to like restaurants that are a little bit newer. It feels new. It's clean, it's modern, it's contemporary. And the second thing that I like about this restaurant is it's huge. The dining room's huge. You're not going to be, if you're spending $50, $100 or more, chances are you don't want to be right up on top of other people while you're eating. Personally, I'm not a fan of that. I actually hate that, where you can hear everything that they're talking about next to you. So chances are, if you go here, you're probably going to have a little bit of space. You're not going to be right up on top of other guests. In terms of the food, a lot of options. We had the Cobb salad to start with, and then we had the meatloaf and the Cajun chicken bowl. Everything we had was really good. All three of those dishes tasted amazing. Would definitely recommend all three of them. Number 9, we had Sedell. I have Sedell's on this list, and I'm actually, Nellys, the food might be better than Sedell's, frankly. If I'm being candid, it probably is. But I have Sedell's at number 9 because it's Bellagio. This is an opportunity to go to Bellagio for dinner. Most people, I think, are not even aware that Sedell's serves dinner. It's most famous as a brunch spot. It's a great place to go for brunch, right next to the conservatory. But they are open for dinner on Friday and Saturday. And when we went, it was not crowded at all, perhaps because most people aren't aware that it's open on Friday and Saturday night, or maybe it was because we went a little bit early on. So hopefully if you go, you'll get to experience that as well. In terms of the food, we had the garlic chicken and mashed potatoes, as well as the rigatoni bolognese, and they were both good. Really no complaints, but wouldn't say the food was to rave about. If I was to go back, I'd probably try something else. Maybe the salmon or the ribeye I think they have on the menu. But still, I think, given the fact that it's at Bellagio, virtually, I think, in terms of a restaurant, the least expensive option you're going to find there with still a relatively nice upscale ambiance. Definitely think Sadelle's is worthy of the number 9 spot. At number 8, we have Beauty and Essex, which is located at the Cosmopolitan. Cool place, cool ambiance. You actually walk through a functioning pawn shop to get into Beauty and Essex, and the moment you walk in, it feels very upscale, very elegant, nice, dimly lit dining room and ambiance. In terms of the food, we had I believe the kale and apple salad with goat cheese to start with, which was excellent. Then we had the tomato soup dumplings, which have the grilled cheese and the bacon, also really good. We had the oven braised chicken meatballs. We had the macaroni and cheese, and we had the barbecue fries. Everything tasted great. Frankly, if I was to go back, I would not order the tomato soup and grilled cheese dumplings. They tasted good, but just for the amount of food you're getting, it's just so small, the amount of food, that I don't think it's worth it. Versus, I think there's better options in the menu that you can get. My opinion. Definitely a good option overall. Number 7, we have Lemongrass. And this place, I think, is truly a hidden gem. It's located at Aria. Considering Aria is a 5-star resort, I think the prices here, which last time I was there, prices are always going up in Vegas. So by the time you see this video, they might be more. But when I was there, it was, I think, about $20, $25, maybe $30, $20 to $30 per entree, which I think is really a good value for some place like Aria. Really good Thai food. I've been there like 4 or 5 times. Have had a bunch of dishes. Some of my favorites, I really like the sesame chicken, the green curry, the Penang curry, the pad thai, the basil chicken. All of them are really good. When you think about the fact that you can order 3 entrees for 2 people, which I think is enough, for pretty much less or the same price as you'd pay for 1 steak. I mean, at John George's, and John George's is great, but in terms of the value, for 3 entrees, the price of 1 steak with no sides, definitely a great value you'll find at Lemongrass. Very nice ambiance. Number 6, we have Tender, which is located at Luxor. And I know, when you think of upscale dining, someplace like Luxor probably isn't the first place that comes to mind. People think of Luxor as kind of a lower end property, and I guess compared to a lot of other properties in the Strip, it is. But Tender really surprised me. Tender really impressed me. First of all, it's much bigger than it initially appears. It kind of just appears on the smaller side, right next to the casino. But you walk in, there's multiple dining rooms within, nice dark wooden decor. It almost seems like a Capitol Grill. And I know people are going to hear that and go, you're nuts. Like Capitol Grill, like Tender, Luxor is not even close to that. Kind of comparable to me. Really nice ambiance. I don't know if the food's quite as good as Capitol Grill, but in my opinion, pretty close. I thought it was really good. We had a salad, nice wedge salad. We had a ribeye, and I believe it was a lemon chicken. Really good dish overall. Thought it was a great value for the price. It's, if I'm not mistaken, significantly less expensive than a lot of other steakhouses. So definitely think it's worthwhile, worthy of the number 6 ranking. Number 5 is another another steakhouse, which is located at Planet Hollywood, called Strip House. And this has also a really cool vibe. It's like a burlesque, red velvet leather, dimly lit. It's kind of a throwback to the golden era of Hollywood. And overall, I think Tender is probably a better ambiance, strictly because of the fact that it's bigger. and Strip House feels much smaller. Now, when we went, it was earlier, so it wasn't too crowded. But I think if you went when it was a little crowded, even just like not totally empty, it's a little too intimate. So I don't think the ambiance, I think Tender is a little bit better, but I put, and I think the food at both of them is pretty comparable. The food's good at both of them. But I put Strip House at number 5 above Tender because I think the steak at Strip House is just a step up from Tender. It tastes more premium. We had the New York strip, cooked perfectly. One of the best steaks I've had. I think it can compete with practically any. I've had a lot of steaks in the strip, and it was better than a lot of much more expensive steaks that I had. So I think it's definitely deserves to be in the number 5 spot. Number 4, we have Julian Serrano Tapas, which is also located at Aria. And this place I ignored for the longest time. I would always walk past it. It's right off the lobby. It just doesn't look that special from the outside. It looks like just another average restaurant. There's really nothing that appealing about it. But little did I know, there's actually a rear hidden away dining room, which is much more luxurious than the main seating area. It's like different tables, different chairs. It just feels totally different. It feels like a different restaurant. I think if you go, this is where you want to request to be seated. Very upscale, luxurious ambiance. We, both times that I went, ordered the Valencia paella, which has chicken and 2 different kinds of sausage. It's exquisite. I've been to Spain. I've had paella in Spain, and I prefer this. I think it's incredible. In terms of the paella, they know what they're doing there. And I think the price, whatever it is, $70, $80 for 2 people, it's an incredible value if you're eating in that dining room. Also had a couple desserts there the first time we went that were incredible. So definitely would recommend that if you're looking for an upscale dining experience at a good value. I'm not sure if you can do much better than Julian Serrano's sharing the paella with somebody else. Number 3, we have Scarpetta. So if you're in the mood for Italian, you're looking for a good value, I think you can't go wrong with Scarpetta, which is located at Cosmopolitan. I don't know if it's the best Italian restaurant in Vegas. Some people probably would say it is. Some would say it's not. But I think it has to be one of the best values, if not the best. They give you a nice bread basket to begin with, has an assortment of different breads, focaccia, and some just amazing breads that I think for a complimentary basket of bread, oftentimes restaurants are now charging. So that's a nice touch. We had a nice salad with gorgonzola, and then 3 pasta dishes, which if I'm not mistaken, were like $20 to $30 each. The aglinati short rib, the foie gras ravioli, and the spaghetti with the pomodoro. All 3 of them, excellent, incredible value. I think you can't go wrong with Scarpetta. And at number 2, we have Bavettes at Park MGM. This also kind of a similar feel to Strip House, but I think better, a little bit larger with the dimly lit, dark ambiance. This one, though, is, as opposed to Hollywood, this is more of a 1920s Chicago type feel, which really cool. Really dig the vibe there. Both times I went there, we had a nice booth, the red velvet booth. Would recommend trying to snag one of those if you can. They have great bread there. The wedge salad, I love wedge salads. Theirs is one of the best I've had. Incredible dressing. And the first time that I went there, I had steak, and it was very good. But the most recent time, which was actually a funny enough less expensive, we had the Wagyu burger and the short rib stroganoff, and they were both incredible. That stroganoff is one of my favorite dishes that I've had in Vegas. If I was to go back, I would get those two again. I would recommend them. And for dessert, they have the chocolate cream pie, which is very rich, tastes like a very rich chocolate mousse. One of my favorite desserts I've ever had on the Las Vegas Strip, if not my favorite. I think Bavettes is a great option. And number one, what I think has to be the upscale value dining champion is Mona Mi Gabi. And it's really incredible. I have to give them credit that they've kept their prices so low up until 2024, and I hope they do. And if you're watching this, you've never been to Vegas, and you go, and you might think these prices aren't that low. That they're like, that's like the most expensive restaurant in my town. But for Vegas, the prices are very low, relatively speaking. Most recently, we had the steak with béarnaise, which great steak, $39.95, I think it is. I don't think you can do much better. I mean, if you go off the strip a little bit, I'm sure. But in terms of like Central Strip, the quality of food, incredible value. Also, I love the chicken a la grand-mère that they serve there. It's a very rich brown sauce with the bacon, the mushrooms. They also have really good desserts. So there you have it. That's my top 10. I know definitely subjective lists, but that's how I would rank them. Might have missed a few. There were some that I kind of debated putting on there, but curious to know what you think. Let me know if I missed any, or feel free to comment below with your top 10 or even just your favorite. And if you're still watching, please go ahead, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.